In 2021, a major medical device manufacturer faced an absolute nightmare scenario. They were forced to issue a recall for sleep apnea and ventilator machines that quickly ballooned to over 5.5 million defective units. The financial fallout from that single product failure was immediate. Philips lost the vast majority of its value on the stock market over the next 18 months, ultimately leading to the resignation of their CEO after a 12-year run. You might expect a crisis like this to belong to an obscure, highly specialized medical conglomerate, but the company bleeding out in that hospital wing is actually Philips, historically one of the most dominant consumer electronics titans on the planet. It is a staggering departure from the legacy of a company that invented the cassette tape, a technology that went on to sell over 100 billion units worldwide. Why would an apex predator of consumer technology voluntarily liquidate a massive global empire, choosing instead to bet its entire existence on healthcare? The 2021 ventilator recall is more than a defective product story. It's a cautionary tale about the immense, hidden dangers of corporate hyper-specialization. Philips built its foundational dominance starting with an 1891 light bulb partnership in the Netherlands. By the 1920s, they had vertically integrated their factories and formed a global production cartel alongside General Electric. Manufacturing light bulbs required glass tubes, which made the move into radio tubes a logical extension. This expansion allowed them to become the absolute #1 producer of radios in the world by 1933. Their influence on media was monumental. In 1982, they teamed up with Sony to co-invent and commercialize the compact disc, establishing a global music standard that would eventually sell over 200 billion units. Through their massive record label, Polygram, Philips controlled the music itself. They built an industry powerhouse that produced some of the highest-selling soundtracks of the 1970s, including Saturday Night Fever and Grease. This dominance stretched into every corner of the home, from domestic VCRs and Magnavox televisions to the ubiquitous Norelco line of grooming appliances. They even played a pivotal role in the early video game wars by taking control of the creators of the Odyssey, the first-ever home video game console. By the turn of the century, Philips possessed an invincible, highly diversified portfolio that anchored them in nearly every room of the average consumer's home. Despite this reach, Philips faced tightening margins and brutal competition in the consumer space. In response, they launched a radical strategy to trade broad consumer visibility for high-margin medical technology. This diagram shows the scale of the resulting liquidation. To fund their new medical ambitions, they began severing massive branches of their empire, starting with the sale of the Polygram record label for over $10 billion. They continued liquidating their primary safety nets over the following decade, which included spinning off their historic lighting business and selling their profitable microchip division for another $10 billion. Every dollar generated by these sales was funneled into a single pillar, the aggressive acquisition of specialized medical firms. The pinnacle of this spending spree arrived in 2007, when Philips spent over $5 billion to acquire Respironics, effectively cornering the global market for respiratory care. While this generated massive capital for the transition, it shifted the company's structure from a wide, diversified stronghold into a highly concentrated point of failure. By 2013, the transition was complete. Philips officially dropped the word electronics from its name, identifying solely as a health technology firm. The 2021 Respironics recall acted as a brutal stress test for this new, specialized corporate structure. In the diversified era, a failure in one division, like a struggling TV line, was absorbed by the profits of their microchip or lighting divisions. But without a safety net, nothing could absorb the shock of the respiratory failure. By stripping away their diverse consumer portfolio, Philips made it possible for a single localized failure in medical devices to jeopardize the entire company's existence. Philips successfully executed one of the largest corporate pivots in history, but in the process, they inadvertently engineered their own extreme vulnerability. A company that once defined global, ubiquitous standards, like billions of cassettes and CDs, now finds its reality tied to a niche, high-stakes medical market. It raises the question, is the promise of high-margin specialization worth the risk of abandoning a legacy that took over a century to build? Whether Philips recovers its footing in the medical industry remains to be seen, but they changed their future forever the day they decided to leave the living room. The ultimate diversification trap isn't expanding too broadly, but the hidden existential danger of sacrificing your safety net for a singular focus.